Right, 25 away from 9 o'clock. Good to have you with us. It's the Monday morning edition of the South African Morning. All right, let's keep a focus on water infrastructure in the country. Yes, we're talking about water treatment plants. Let's go one step further, one layer down, shall we, and talk education. Every child has the right to quality education. Of course, this includes access to safe drinking water, sanitation and hygiene in order for them to get the proper education. Is that where we are? How are the schools struggling? Let's find out. I'm joined by Matakanye Matakanya from the National Association of School Governing Bodies, or SGBs. Matakanye, morning. I haven't spoken to you for some time. Just set the scene for me here. How bad is water at some of the schools that you're aware of, whether it's rural or urban? Just give me a sense of how bad it is.
Good morning, Gareth, and all your eNCA listeners. Yes, it's quite a time that we have been not talking. I'm happy that I'm talking to you now. Look, Gareth, the advent of COVID-19, if you remember well, you will find that it exposed us a lot, that there is terrible water infrastructure shortages in our schools in particular. And then it was made one of the non-negotiables that there must be water in schools, if you remember well. And because one of the conditions was that now children must continue for health protocol. They must continuously wash their hands. But it is really disturbing that even now, we still have the problem of water. Like, for instance, I mean, look what really happened in Hammanskraal. It is indicated very clearly that our schools are still running short of infrastructure, water infrastructure. So our children are really in a terrible situation, because you must understand that the school caters for more than 1,000 children. Just imagine these children going to toilet where there is no water. Just imagine the health situation, how it would look like, you know? So I think we must seriously now talk to the government and ensure that this water infrastructure is prioritized in schools. Because the truth of the matter, just imagine the house of the two people in a house. If there is no water, then you cannot even go to toilet. You can't do that, and you can't even wash your. If after going to toilet, you can't even wash your hands. What is the health? The health situation is terrible. So it is terrible in that, and I don't just want to tell how serious it is, but you know, Gareth, the advent of COVID 2021.
It certainly didn't help the situation, Matakanya, and the saddest part is we would have thought there were lessons learned during COVID. I think you're 100% correct. Lessons learned then about the importance of health, sanitation, water, running water. Beyond the health aspect of this as well, though, is when we start hearing stories of children at schools that are now dehydrated because they're unable to get clean drinking water at home. They're unable to get clean drinking water at school as well, because this is going to affect their ability to concentrate, being dehydrated. Never mind the health factors. I think that's well documented. But then also it doesn't help the teachers to get their job done properly either, and this affects education, doesn't it?
Of course, it does. I mean, if there is no water in schools, then you just as good as close the school for a day or for a week and all those things. Now, at the end, it is true that it is going to be impact on the progress of children, the results. And we'll turn around and say, no, teachers did not do the work, whereas we forget that now there is no water infrastructure in schools. Because the truth of the matter is that if there's no water, why should the children go to school? There's no way where they could relieve themselves. They cannot wash their hands, dehydrated, as you have already said. I mean, what is the use of going there? So it depends how long would it take to correct that situation. I mean, there is a school somewhere in Limpopo as well. You know, I talked to them. It's called the school called Mudiela. You know, they went there and dug the borehole, but we were told that now 3 boreholes they could not be found. But now the question is, where is the money? Where has the money gone to?
Well, I wanted to ask you that as well. If we take this conversation forward, Matakanye, as well, because you took the next question right out of my mouth. Let's follow the money or the lack of money as well. We're going to try and get a response from the Department of Water and Sanitation, obviously basic education as well. From your perspective, what's it been like trying to deal with, for example, those two departments we're going to follow up with? Are they talking to you? Are you getting answers that you want? Do they understand how desperate this is? Basic education and water and sanitation. Talk politics and talk departments very quickly for me.
They don't talk to us. We talk to schools. You know, the example that I'm giving, I was reported to by the schools. And the same applied during the time of COVID. If you remember, Gareth, that we will talk to schools. Schools will tell us that there's no water. And then you try to talk to the department. And sometimes you don't get answers from the department that what is really happening. Like, for instance, I'm talking to you. I went to the department and said, the second office, then talk to them. They said, no, we are not responsible. The people responsible are the district. I went to the district. They were delivering water. But up to now, we don't know what is really happening. Because the truth of the matter is that they must address this question of water infrastructure so that we don't have problems in that. Now, when schools are reporting these matters, then you don't know, because we don't have the money. The money is with them. Then they have got the power to construct infrastructure in schools and provide water in schools where they could not. And then also the question of the boreholes water, the boreholes. Then they must do that, because they have been doing that and they've been supplying water of all these times. So we don't know what is really going on now.
Yeah, we're going to try and get the answers as well. That's how I wanted you to explain to me, Matakanye, what you've been hearing from the departments, what you've been asking from them as well, because we are going to follow up with that water and sanitation department and basic education throughout today as well. We're going to try and get some comment from them. Not try, we will. We'll get some comment from them. We're going to use what you had to say to us as well. Matakanye Matakanya from the National Association of School Governing Bodies joining us this morning. 19 away.